Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Joseph from Screenbite, and today we're going to be switching gears a little bit. On my Google Pixel versus my DSLR video, I actually got quite a few questions in regards to something that I was doing in that video called color grading. Now, my video process, as well as how I get the most out of my aging camera, is a video series that I've actually been wanting to make for a while, and with the introduction of those comments, I figured now would be a great time to start. So over the course of the next few videos, what I'm actually going to be going over is not necessarily my workflow and my process, but sort of what I do to get the best image that I can out of my camera. So this first video, and believe it or not, of course it's not all in post. So this first video is going to focus primarily on what I do in camera to get the best image possible out of my camera before I even bring it over to my computer and start messing with it after the fact. What we're going to go ahead and do here is do a couple of test shots with different settings in the camera, just to show you what the settings that I use are, as well as why you might be getting the image that you're getting when you try to do something similar. So let's get started. Now, this first image you're seeing here is what you're pretty much going to get when you first get the camera, take it out of the box, throw it on the video mode, and maybe put a lens on it like I have now. This is pretty much what you're going to be getting. There's no post-editing done to this at all. Everything is coming straight from the camera. And as you can see, it has a very weird, I guess the best term for it would be video-y look. It's very sharp. Very contrasty. The blacks are actually crushed pretty far, as you can see in the chair behind me, and overall it's not a very pleasing looking image. And this is what puts a lot of people off buying cheaper DSLRs who don't know a whole lot about cameras, is because when you buy it and this is the image quality that you're getting, it's just not going to look good for what a lot of people want to get out of their videos. Now, what you're seeing now is a similar effect to what I get in my videos, but not quite there just yet. This is with some tweaking inside of the camera, which I'll go over in just a moment. But as you can see, it's a lot flatter, not as sharp, as well as the colors are kind of washed out. Now, the image that you're seeing here is the image that I have coming out of my camera before I do any editing to it at all. As you can see, it's pretty washed out, nice flat, no contrast, and it's just kind of muddy in general. It's supposed to look like this because in post, that's when I add all the sharpness elements, contrast, color that I want to make it look the way that I want it to make it look. And to jazz it up and to kind of get the effect that I really like, what I have over here is a lamp with a tungsten colored bulb in it that I just turn on, and it gives me this nice orange ring light, which I feel like really helps the effect in my videos. So now let's take a look at all this in action. So I'm doing this on my Canon T3i with extra software on top of it. I have Magic Lantern installed, which is kind of like non-official firmware that you can install on your camera just to give it a lot of extra features, and I personally really like it because it helps me push this really old camera now at this point to its limits, but you could pretty much do this on any camera. So if you look on the top here, you'll see that the mode that it's currently in is neutral. That is what's called a picture style. So I'm going to go ahead and move it over to standard, which was the first shot that you saw, and here's an example. As you can see, the blacks are crushed, it's very contrasty. It's just not very pleasing, and if you put this in post, there's not much that you can do with it. And moving right along, now we're going to go ahead and take a look at neutral. So this is the one that I was showing you where you can mess with some settings inside the camera to achieve a similar effect to what I currently get on my videos. And as you can see, it's more washed out and the blacks aren't as crushed, which means they might be able to be saved in post. And let me show you how you do this in the camera. On the Canon, so you go to menu, then you go over to the third tab and picture style. You select the picture style you want to edit and then click info, and then you can adjust the sliders. So you want to have sharpness all the way down, contrast all the way down, saturation you can have it somewhere close all the way down. I put it all the way down, and color tone right in the middle. Now, if you want to push this one step further, there are actually other picture styles that you can download from the internet. My personal favorite is Cinestyle, which is made by the people over at Technicolor. I'll show you how to get that in just a moment, but basically, once you have it installed on your camera, you can then move over to it, which would be under your user default. Mine's user default 1, and it looks like this. So it's fairly similar to the other image that you just saw, except the blacks are even less crushed. There's a lot more dynamic range, so there's a lot more that you can do with this image in post, which is exactly what we're looking for color grading. And to get yourself the Cinestyle profile, it's very simple. You just gotta Google Technicolor Cinestyle. And when you do this, it's going to take you directly to the page for Cinestyle. Basically, like I said, this is a profile that you can download. I'm not sure if it works for other cameras, but I know for a fact that it works for Canon, and I'm part of the Canon family, so that's what I use it on now. And basically, you just go here and download it. I'm not going to do that because I already have it. But once it's downloaded, it's been a very long time since I've done this process, but I believe you have to download the Canon EOS software that comes with your camera onto your computer. Once that's installed, you then just need to put Cinestyle on as a profile. Just basically drag and drop it over. And then once you do that and you restart your camera, it's in there as one of your custom profiles. You go ahead and switch over to it, and boom, there you go. Now, before we close out, there's one final thing that I want to touch on when it comes to getting this image off of your camera, and that is exposure. Now, exposure is affected by many different things, but the key thing here is ISO. Now, ISO is basically the sensitivity of your sensor and how much light it is allowing to come in on that sensor. And you really want to make sure that you have the perfect exposure, because if you have that ISO way too high, it'll actually introduce a really ugly element to your video, and that's noise. So as you can see, this is completely unusable and it's just disgusting. And on the flip side, if you're too dark, then you're just not going to have anything to work with, and it's just a very, very dark image. Not as noisy, but still just as bad. Alright, and that's going to go ahead and do it for this first part of the video. So hopefully that helps you guys quite a bit. Maybe people that are a little bit more advanced to cameras might already know this, but for the newcomers who are really just trying to get their first really good image, hopefully that helps you set up your camera so that you can get the best image quality that you can out of it. In our next video, I'm going to be showing how you take it from this to this. So keep a lookout for that, and as always, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to show it by hitting that like button down below. If you have any questions about what I talked about in this video, feel free to ask it in a comment, or you can also hit me up on Twitter at Screenbite. Also, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, feel free to subscribe. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.